book besties, let's go book thrifting! I'm in my car. You already know where we're driving to. We're going to the thrift store. Welcome back, besties. I'm so excited to go book thrifting. I've genuinely missed it. I feel like I just love browsing so much, even if I don't get anything. But the first stop is the classic Goodwill. This is an overview of everything, but right when I walked in, I was shocked to find my favorite book of this year so far. I know it's only March, but in January, I read the Bromance Book Club and I loved it so much that I listened to it on audiobook and I went out and bought the physical book and I bought it for like, I think $11, and now I found it here at the thrift store. I was doing a quality check and I think someone took like a bite out of this book. So it was like okay in quality, but I mean the spine isn't broken. It's an amazing book. And I was like, it's at the thrift store for $3.99. I mean, the person who buys it is going to adore it, hopefully. So I pull out this book and I was so confused because it says Sandra Block and I got confused with Sandra Bullock, who is an actress, and I was like, oh my gosh, she wrote a book, and I was so distracted that I just left it on the shelf and it fell down. It made like, of course, like a noise and everyone was looking at me. The employees were like staring. Well, they were always staring because I was like filming. I don't think it's like against the rules to film in Goodwill, or I've like never been kicked out before for filming in Goodwill. I've definitely caused a scene and I wasn't embarrassed because it's like an accident, but I was just like, oops. This book sounded very familiar to me, but not because of the title, but because of the author, Brittany Carvalero, and I was like, I know that name, and it's because she co-wrote a book with Emily Henry that I have that I got for 50 cents at a library book sale. But I was just like, wow, small world. Well, not small world, I don't know what I'm saying, but I have a tip for y'all. A popular comment that I get on my thrift videos is that like, wow, you're so lucky, or that I wish my thrift stores look like this. And yes, I'm very lucky to live in an area where there are a lot of thrift stores near me, like there are 5 within like 2 miles. So I'm very lucky on that aspect. But one advice I have is like familiarizing yourself with author's name and book spine, because a lot of thrift stores are organized like this way where it's just like the spine only, and sometimes the book spine is harder to tell what the book is rather than like the cover. So sometimes if you familiarize yourself with like popular book spines, you might get lucky and find them at the thrift store because they stand out a little more to you. I think my local Target donated to this Goodwill because I don't know if y'all saw like the viral TikToks, but Target had like a book clearance sale. I couldn't find it at my Target, but basically Target like put a bunch of their books on clearance, and you could see here, this book was on sale for $4.07, but Goodwill is selling it for $3.99. So I feel like an 8 cents like discount for Goodwill is like, what? I feel like they should be selling it like the highest being $1.99 because they got it for donation. But then I saw this 2 books, which I think the cover is adorable, and I've definitely heard about this book, and it's also $4.07. You can see they like tried to scratch off the book. I don't know if that's Target or that's them, but the same deal, $3.99. And I was like, what? And I know that it's like if you shop on the red tag day it would be $2, but I feel like still that's a little like ridiculous. There was something about this book that was just really creepy. Maybe it was like the 2 faces or just like the emptiness of this book. And then I saw Stephen King like having a quote on it, so I was like, it makes sense. I was really excited to see this book, Who is Vera Kelly? Because I saw it at my local indie bookstore not too long ago, and I was really excited to like read it, and I never checked it out, or like I never bought it, but I thought the cover was like really pretty, and I think it's like a twisty book. And I saw this like sentence and I was like, what a good way to sum up like a book in one sentence that like really draws in the reader. But I remember it was like really popular during Halloween, and so I was like, wow, bringing out the spooky vibes. This book, I think the cover is absolutely stunning. This is called This Is All Your Fault, and this is an arc, which I didn't know when I pulled it out, but as I got a closer look, I realized it was an arc. But the details in this book, I loved it. I thought it was beautiful. And I just think it's so interesting how arc, it says not for sale, but if you donate it to a thrift store, technically they can sell it. But you yourself, as someone who receives an arc, cannot sell it. The biggest selection of James Patterson, which I thought this was really funny because it reminded me of a conversation I had with my best friend. Anyways, we were at a bookstore and we saw James Patterson and she was like, "Oh, James Patterson." And I was like, "You read James Patterson?" And she was like, "No, I read a book from him when I was little, but the best thrillers and mysteries." And I was like, "Really?" And she was like, "Yeah, it was good." I was like, "He has so many books." And she was like, "Really?" I was like, "Yeah, I think he has ghostwriters, allegedly. I don't know though." Anyways, I had to let y'all know I was standing next to the smelliest plant in the world. It stunk. It stank. It stunk so bad. It was disgusting. It was horrible. Then I found another one of those Target clearance sales, but this one was marked at $2.99, so I thought that was a little bit better, but still kind of overpriced. This was such a cute graphic novel, but I think it's a misplaced book because it feels like YA or younger audience, but it was cute nonetheless. And I saw this book, and I think I saw it on Bookstagram before, and I think it was a pretty good review, but I didn't add it to my TBR. But if you read it before and you enjoyed it, let me know because I think I might want to check it out. I decided to check out the classics, which I never do, but I did find this set of Barnes & Noble classics books, so that was pretty cool. There was Jane Eyre, and I was supposed to read this book back in high school, but I decided not to because there was a whole selection you could read from, and I decided to read The Color Purple instead. And I think I made the right choice because I really liked that book, even though it was pretty intense for a high schooler, I think, but I really enjoyed that one. And then I found myself in the autobiography book, and I found Contra Frantor's book, and this is actually a really funny story because back in high school as well, my sister met him and he was signing books, and she wanted him to sign something for me, but she didn't want to buy two books, and she was like, "Will you sign something for my little sister?" And he was like, "Yeah, do you have anything?" And she was like, "Oh my gosh, I don't have anything." And so she pulled out a piece of paper and she was like, "Yeah, I have this." And so he signed a notebook piece of paper, and he didn't write anything, he just signed his name. He didn't write to Sally. It was just his name. So that's a wrap on place 1, and then I decided to walk over to place 2 since it's right by. And I'm going to be honest, location 2 used to be my favorite place, but I think it's slowly becoming one of my least favorite place. I think the resellers found it or something, and I don't think I gatekeeped it enough because it's very lacking. But I didn't want to be disappointed just yet, so I was like, okay, let's check out the new cart, which is where all the books that they haven't shelved yet. And just by a glance, I was already disappointed. So I was like, you know what, let's not give our hopes up. So I decided to go in depth, and I saw Looking for Alaska, so I was like, okay, at least there are books that I recognize. But I'm just going to cut it short. There were not a lot of books that I knew. And so there were a lot of classroom books, elementary books. So I feel if you're a teacher, this could be pretty helpful. But other than that, there was nothing really. I saw The Girl on the Train, and I saw this Frederick Backman book. So I was like, okay, there are a few books that I know. I think Backman recently had a book became a movie. I think it was The Man Called Ove. and that was pretty cool, but other than that, there was really nothing. I saw this book, A Little Something Different, which I used to have, but I sold it to like my local indie bookstore. I think it's really interesting, the concept. It's like a YA younger reader book, but it's a story of two couple told by everyone but them, so a bunch of different point of views. So I think that concept is really interesting, but the execution is a little off because it's like YA, so they made it like really funny, and I feel like it just was a little too young for me because there was also like a point of view of a squirrel and then like the bench, so it was a little weird. And of course, my thrift store classic, Miss Rachel Hollis. I feel like I am finding this book every single time. It's like undeniable, I mean, inevitable. And just like that, that's a wrap for location 2, as well as a wrap for my thrift vlog. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoy. Check out the description for all my other socials. Check out my TikTok, my Instagram. I post on there every single day, multiple times a day. Thank you so much again for watching. I hope you enjoy, and I'll catch you on the flip side. Peace!